Globalization is that phenomenon that is interesting the whole world and that involves various aspects that are able to influence people's lives: economic, social, technical, scientific, cultural, etc. The theme of the globalization has been analyzed by many intellectuals. Anthony Giddens has, for example, defined this term as a complex economic phenomenon that brings to an increasing and rapid world integration. The sociologist Bauman believes instead that inside the word globalization there are many processes than we normally think, and he writes that globalization divides as much as it unites. It divides while it is uniting, and the causes of the division are the same that, from the other side, they promote the uniformity of the globe. The economy can be considered the engine or instigating cause of the globalization, since it seeks to create a single global market without tariff barriers, free from the traditional forms of social protection. Globalization of the markets means all over the world the sale of the same products from enterprises displaced in various countries. With the globalization, the tendency to conform the lifestyle in every part of the world has also been developed. All over the world are transmitted the same films or TV series, and in the greatest part these are American. We listen to the same CDs and therefore the same kinds of music. Another type of globalization is a technological one that concerns the world of the information and the communication. Previously, to communicate to long distances, we used the postcards and the letters. Therefore, the speed and transmission times of the messages were limited. Thanks to the birth of multinationals, it implies the reduction of the unemployment. With the increasing of the job market, the competition has become more and more fierce. It is not always so simple to find a job in the country of origin. The cheap labor and the lower tax burdens make large companies decide to move to foreign countries, where the fiscal pressure is lower, thus creating the phenomenon of the delocalization. The globalization therefore favors the world trade and creates a political and economic union that facilitates the agreement among the countries. On the other hand, instead, it penalizes the small local companies that don't have the possibility to compete. For someone, the overcoming of the territorial borders represents a source of cultural enrichment, and it's considered a point of reference for the diffusion of all the human knowledge. The term Americanization defines the standardization of the society and of the individuals to the American cultural models, to their lifestyles, and even to their ideas, a real imperialism. The word Americanization is completed with the term Westernization, and the whole can be explained, for instance, with the propagation of the credit card, Visa and MasterCard, created in 1950 in the United States of America, and soon enough become a global phenomenon. The language is the most efficient tool of communication and also that for excellence. It can be understood as a symbolic system of communication in which the information passes from the transmitting to the recipient. The communication can be defined as a mutual exchange of information, emotions, opinions, requests among two or more individuals aimed at the growth of knowledge. The fundamental elements of the communication are six: issuing, recipient, message, handler, code, and channel. The verbal language, paraverbal and nonverbal, belong to the communicative system of the human being. We can realize the importance of the study of a foreign language in the moment in which we meet people of other cultures, make ours their traditions, their customs, and the custom of other nations. The teaching and learning of the languages is essential to assure to the citizens the possibility to move or to work. The ability of an individual or an ethnic group to use and to know how to speak more languages is called multilingualism. This brings different economic benefits to the people and to the economy in general. To conduct commercial activity can be necessary to negotiate with hundreds of different national and regional cultures. A feature of the enterprises is really not to consider cultural differences as a problem, on the contrary, as a source of enrichment and stimulus. Another field of study can be added to the economy of the languages is that of the relationship between languages and tourism, because the languages are important in situations like reception, travel agency, tour operator, restaurants, hotels, places of cultural interest. The The extinction of the languages is all over the world a growing phenomenon, and the data are more and more alarming. It is a problem that has to do with the progress more than with the historical surge, and that requires for concrete and urgent solutions. The so-called endangered languages are clearly defined as minority languages. They are therefore in a situation of minority in comparison to another language that normally it is the most prestigious language and recognized as an official language. If the Latin has been seen for centuries as a symbol of the Roman Empire and culture and religion official language, at the same time today the English is the tool of common communication that allows the world population to interact. The English language is fundamental for the business, for the computer science, and others innumerable fields. It is by now considered a fundamental competence for the job world. The EF Education first elaborated a report that shows how nations with an high-level English of knowledge records more export and more investments in research and development. Any language is a whole of words exposed to the contact with other national languages. The language never finishes evolving, and the interaction among two languages can cause the complete integration of the words in the receiving language. That is, the word is able not to have suffered the roles of the morphology of the receiving language. The principal way through which the patrimony of a language can become wealthy is commonly denominated linguistic loan. The marketing is the activity that have the aim to satisfy the requirement of the consumers through exchange processes and the coordination of production and distribution of goods and services resources to reach the objectives of the companies. Even before to open a company, it needs to develop a business idea that materializes it in the business plan, and it is structured in this way: entrepreneurial idea, product service, the market, and SWOT analysis. With the term international marketing, it intends that market penetration strategy in different countries with the goal to acquire, to consolidate, and to develop a clientele so that the presence of the brand on the foreign markets results profitable. The principal objective of the international marketing is that to individualize the best common ground between the international demand or the demand of a single foreign market and the business supply. When we speak of international marketing, we refer to multinational company, that is a type of enterprise that organizes its production at least into different countries with some branches. This kind of company is used with the aim to extend the market and to achieve economies of scale, exploiting the different productive conditions in the various countries. Currently, the multinationals are around 60,000 and they check the 2/3 of the world trade traffic. The multinationals' control concerns the computer science, telecommunication, the medicines, the armaments, the foods, the tobacco, illegal trafficking, and the banks. Nike, world leader in the shoes and sporting clothing, during the 90s it has been hit by a scandal. It was found out that the firm exploited children in the factories in Southern America, Korea, and Vietnam to produce its most wanted items. In conclusion, we can affirm that the linguistic globalization is surely one of the most remarkable processes in relation to the economic growth and development of the various countries of the planet. Core competencies and various linguistic strategies finalized to the multilingualism and the multiculturalism are blocking factors for the globalization of the firms. Currently, it's unthinkable that an enterprise succeeds in getting great profits, and above all, that it succeeds also in opening branches in more parts of the world without the solid linguistic basis that characterize the employees.